Sweet Pea Inspirations. My name is Sydney and welcome to All Things Yarn Related, which is a vlog where I like to share with you guys my work in progresses and finished objects. I am a designer as far as knitting and crocheting goes, so you can find my written patterns on Ravelry, but I do also have tutorials here on the channel. And in these vlog videos, you do see sneak peeks of what I'm currently designing. So if you're into that, please stick around. And I really want to start this video off by saying thank you for tuning in today, whether you are new or returning. Your time is greatly appreciated here on the channel. But I want to especially thank those who have been keeping my family in your prayers over the last several weeks. Some of you guys know I've been currently out of town due to my grandpa being in the hospital. They have diagnosed him with central nervous system lymphoma, which is cancer of the lymphatic system. And if you don't know what the lymphatic system is, it deals with your immune system. It is a rare and aggressive cancer. They found several masses in his brain, but they found one cancerous mass on his basal ganglia, which is the center of his brain that controls his speech, his movements, sometimes memory. And when first got there, he wasn't really doing very well. He kind of didn't know where he was at. He didn't know why he was in the hospital. He knew who my grandmother was. He knew who my mom was, but anybody else he couldn't really recognize. He at first was walking when he got to the hospital, and then after a few days, he could not walk. But they gave him some steroids before they gave him chemo treatments. And those kind of helped a little bit, but really not too much. He was just very lethargic and wasn't doing too well. But after they treated him with chemo, he started kind of getting a lot better. He was starting to able to speak more, move around more, kind of know who was coming and who was going. So there is some light at the tunnel. Just keeping him in your prayers if you don't mind still, because you never know when things are going to flip around. So I do want to thank you guys for keeping us in your prayers, and some wonderful news has came about the dark side of what has been going on. So with being out of town and traveling back and forth between home and to West Virginia and back, and then traveling to the hospital and going to some doctor's appointments with my mom, I really haven't gotten too much, but I decided while I was away that I was going to start working on a pair of socks. So I started and finished one sock, and now I have to work on the second sock. So that one is completed. And then before I actually went out of town, I talked about in my last update video where I was working on a duster vest, which is similar to the one that I've got on my mannequin right now. But I wanted to do a sunflower themed, and when I was talking about last time, I ended up having to rip out the yellow portion of it because it just wasn't working out 100% correctly and had to revise some things. So I started working on that after I record my last updated video, and this is what I've been able to get done so far, which some of it has ripped out. There will be a tutorial on this, and I'm thinking about doing a written pattern as well, but the tutorial for this is going to be sectioned in several different parts just because how big it is and how many different stitches we've got to go through. So this is what I have gotten done so far. Again, it is going to be a sunflower theme. So if you want to know more about the duster vest, please stay tuned to my update videos. Then whenever I got back home, I wanted to work on something but didn't want to work on anything at the same time. I had a lot of yard work and work around the house to get caught up on. So I kind of needed something that was going to help me relax at the same time. So several weeks ago, I ended up trying to make continuous roving with Suffolk wool, but it didn't really turn out the way that I wanted. So I turned them into strips, then hand dyed those. So I took those hand dyed strips and created a gradient art bat. You do see some violet purple here. Then it moves into a lighter purple and then almost kind of into a magenta. And at the end, you do see some teal / turquoise. So I'm very, very excited to see how this turns out in yarn form. I've never done a gradient style yarn, and it's something that I'm kind of wanting to get into because I really, really love gradient style yarns, especially when they are in lace weight. They are my favorite. So it's really something that I'm wanting to kind of start working on. The only other thing that I have been also working on is a diamond painting that I started before going out of town. And then my husband was so gracious enough to help me out and work on it while I was away. He told me the only reason was because he didn't have anybody to talk to nor to pick on. So he decided that he would help me out. But whenever I got back into town, I started working on it and got it almost complete. There's just a few more spots to finish up. And then once it is fully finished, I will cut off the strips and then frame it. And then hopefully next week or in the next few weeks, you'll see it in the background. This diamond painting is one of the diamond paintings that I did get from Outdoor Tide that I do have a 5% discount code, which will be down in the description box if you were so interested. They've got diamond paintings, they've got cross stitch, paint by numbers. They do have a few things for crocheting and knitting goes as well. So please check them out if you are interested. But that is it for me. How are you guys doing? What are you working on? If you would like to let me know what you're working on down in the comments, feel free to do that. Or you can even send me a picture by email. And if that's something that you are interested in doing, please let me know whether I can share it on my community page or not. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. Have a beautiful weekend, and hopefully I will see you guys next Friday.